Hello, friends. It's Halinka nMinnen here, certified BodyMind coach. I am so honored and excited to be with you here today as we navigate fear and uncertainty. I have to say, this one was a bit of a doozy. I'm currently right now in a stage of life where there's nothing that's certain. And a lot of times when we experience that level of uncertainty, it is fought with fear. And what's interesting is really what is certain in life, right? When we start to actually break it down in there. And so when we come from this really embodied perspective of stepping into the unknown, it really becomes a choice to whether or not we want to experience it with fear or if we want to experience it with a different sensation. Maybe there's a little bit of a excitement. Maybe there's a little bit of an adventure. Maybe there's a little bit of a readiness for it all. So today I'd like to actually share with you one of my favorite tools that I use with myself and I share with my clients on when we are navigating fear and uncertainty, of how to make it a little bit easier and really how to find some certainty in the uncertainty. Let me start by sharing with you a story. There was a number of years where I actually worked in the advertising industry and was working in an account executive role, working with clients and helping making sure that all their projects were actually done. And every single client I worked with at this time would get into this real panic state about when deadlines were coming on. There was this one client in particular who would be in sheer panic and in a sheer fear state whenever something was due. I would get a call pretty much weekly from this woman saying, "Oh my goodness, this is awful. I got a terrible experience. I got free ad space and it needs to get done by the end of the week." She would come up with all this fear and this state of emergencies, and these emergencies of being free information and free ad space. And she would come with it and with this such a fear sense of attitude that she wasn't able to see the blessings that she had received of basically receiving money and receiving this free space to be able to support her business. She was in such a heightened state of panic that I caught myself being in a heightened state of panic with her. So this was before BodyMind, but how I actually navigated this at that time is I would hang up the phone and be free ad space, not an emergency. What's an emergency? A child eaten by an alligator. That's an emergency. A school bus caught on fire. That's an emergency. And I would come up with all these ridiculous ideas that created a sense of an emergency and that would truly create a sense of fear, panic, versus something that free ad space, which should not create a sense of fear, panic. It was my little fun way of bringing down my nervous system so that I didn't have to live in a sense of fight or flight that she was in over something that didn't require a sense of fight or flight. Now, how often does that happen in our real lives, right? When we actually experience fear, how often do we experience the sensations of fear when fear is not really valid? So here is my tool for you. Anytime that I am feeling that sense of fear really bubble up in my body, or anytime I'm actually approaching a sensation or a time of uncertainty, I get my trusty journal out. And I literally journal every single thing that comes to mind that is creating this sense of panic, that's creating this unease and the uncertainty, or that's creating this fear. Whatever it is, I want you to journal down every single thought that comes to mind. Don't leave anything out. Don't try to navigate in your head of what's valid or what's not valid. If the thought comes to mind, write it down. What you're going to do next after you've written down, let's say it's a sense of fear and you've written down all the things that you find fearful of the situation. After you get out every single idea onto paper, I invite you to reread your list, but read it out loud. Once you actually read each and every line item, you will start to notice in your body, okay, what is real? What is not real? What has something that my body and mind has created that is so extreme that it's not even possible, yet has put me into this sense of fear? As you go through that list and as you read it out loud, I want you to allow yourself to feel it. And maybe even allow yourself to experience the ridiculousness of some of the things that our mind gives us to be fearful of. And with your pen, cross out the ones that aren't going to happen. Cross out the ones that are completely ridiculous. Cross out the ones that are just sheer nonsense. There will be some on your list. What you'll be left with are the things that maybe are true and the things that are legitimately create some fear and anxiety. And it's only from that list that you're able to create an action plan on how to manage, how to deal with, or how to eliminate those real reasons of fear. The same thing comes with uncertainty. So when you're approaching a situation that's uncertain, write down all the things that you're uncertain about. As you read it out loud, cross off any of the ones that you are ridiculous or that there's no need to be uncertain about because they're completely made up in our mind. And the ones that are uncertain that still stay there, those are real. And you may not have a solution for those. But what I invite you to do next is write down all the things that you are certain of. Have you had any past experiences that are similar to this that you actually persevered through? Do you have a skill set that you know that you are certain about that is going to allow you to navigate or going to allow you to deal with any issues that come? Who's your support system? Where's the certainty in your support system that you don't have to do this alone? It is a tool that I use regularly. This is the biggest tool that I actually share with my clients when we're talking about fear and uncertainty. And let me tell you, this is a tool that I am using right now in this season of my life as I'm transitioning into an area that is completely unknown, completely uncharted territory, completely uncertain. And with that, it would be so easy to allow the crazy thoughts in my head to dictate to whether or not I would succeed in this transition. But when I acknowledge what those thoughts are and give honor and respect and space to those thoughts, to allow myself to read them and to truly embody them, and learn what's real and what's not real. All of a sudden, there's a new sense of confidence and strength to be able to step forward and create just even a little bit of certainty in the most uncertain situation. I invite you to give it a try, and I invite you to share your experience on how this tool worked for you and continue the conversation at BodyMind Living. As always, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach me at The Happy and Healthy Place, both on Facebook and on Instagram. And I invite you to allow yourself to have the pause and to trust yourself as you're navigating fear and uncertainty. Thanks so much for being with me today. We'll talk soon.
This is BodyMind Living with Laura Wick. Thanks for watching.